Drag it on.
It is 6 o'clock on, November 18th, 2024. And we declare this council of the Township of Nairn and Hyman open for business. And right off the top, we have a motion to accept the quote for the Hutchinson Environmental Sciences, right? So moved by Councillor Austin, second by Councillor McDonald. Be it resolved that council accepts the quote for Hutchinson Environmental Sciences Limited, and further that it be added to the CAO's report as Appendix 3. All in favor? Carrie. Oh, Councillor McVeigh, I've gotta. Yeah, I gotta check the TV. So is that already in our list? No.
No,
So where are we moving it to?
so it'll be moved to 7C.
Okay. Okay, we have two declarations of pecuniary interest. I, Wayne Austin, declare a pecuniary interest in item 3A on November 18th, 2024 council agenda. This is a budget item for the fire department, and I have a relative involved as per the integrity commissioner's direction. I confirm that I will not vote on the matter. I will not take part in discussion on any question in respect to the matter. And I will not attempt in any way, whether before, during, or after the meeting, to influence the voting on such question. And same thing, I, Wayne Austin, in the item 8A, November 18th, 2024. I'm making this declaration because fire department item and a relative involved. I confirm that I will not vote on the matter. I will not take part in discussion on any question in respect of the matter, and I will not attempt in any way, whether before, during, or after the meeting, to influence the voting of any such question. So that brings us to our delegations, and I think we have our fire chief, Richard Austin, ready to speak to us. You can come forward if you'd like.
Open, ready, and willing.
You can bring a chair if you'd like.
Come sit up there.
Yeah, yeah.
Why you move back?
He's.
Oh, okay. I thought, thank you, on it. Councilor McVeigh. Mute.
Excuse me. So I don't really know where to start. I mean, I guess we can back it up to the last meeting, where I asked for a few things and I was not here to respond to the correspondence. We're faced with budgetary issues every year, and it just seems to be getting worse. I'm trying to jump ahead, put the horse before the cart, before we do get to a point of no return, I may call it. We've been very fortunate enough in our department, PPE wise, with the municipality supplying us an approving budget to keep our members in great gear at all times, but there comes a time when decisions need to be made, and I don't always like making these decisions on spur of the moment. Should be normal as for budgets. Try to stretch stuff out in the department. If we followed the rules and regulations 100%, I mean, not say rules and regulations, let me say the guidelines, we'd be broke. You know, times have changed, and the OFM is pushing forward for a lot of things that we don't agree with, but we're gonna have to follow. In recent light of live fire training in Espanola, it was brought to my attention that the attendance of a few of the members, their gear was not in compliance. This was noted by the OFM. So one was fit testing. I'll take that upon myself, as we did it last week. Some people are fit tested, some people aren't. People that did go were not, and that was a part of the qualifications for live fire, which we did not have in hand, but from there on, it went to suits. So they reviewed the date on the suits. So our suits, all of them are dated, 2012. Except for, Amy's and
Mine.
myself. Amy's is a 22 and mine's a 16. We've been very fortunate in our department to turn over the suits and turn over the suits with new employees or new volunteers coming forward, not having to purchase new suits. For instance, Mikey Vitaya taking his suit, sending it in service and getting it taken down 2 sizes. Altering to fit, right? We've been very lucky because it's, not everybody fits into a suit and they need to fit to be comfortable because, you need to wear the proper gear in the event of an emergency. So that coming to light, I need to jump on suits. Our suits have done us well. We're going on the 12th year with them. They are getting beaten up and battered, but they've done their job. And in the event of an incident where liability issue may come forward, that's my biggest concern. So I've stretched it out to an extra 2 years, trying to get more, but it's come to the point where suits, the cost of suits are doubling. So I'm asking, for some assistance in trying to get ahead of this. I never got to, normally I would just pull it out of reserves. As I try to put a little bit of money away in reserves every year. But I feel there's other things we can do with some of the money I have itemized in the breakdown. I spoke about SCBA's. Those were purchased in 2004. So they have been in service for our municipality for 20 years. They still do their job. They can stay in service as long as the manufacturer passes or the tech company that services them passes them every year. And we can still get parts. So parts are starting to diminish, but I see another 5 years lifespan of those. So, we'll be looking at a replacement of that gear in, say, 2 to 5 years. At approximate cost of $6,000 to $7,000 a unit.
And how many of those units do you need?
10. And then bottles. So you almost for the average is 3 to 1. So we're looking at 10 specs and then, bottles. We can still get our bottles serviced as long as we can get bottles serviced. And then they have a refurbishing program where we can actually get the bottle refurbished. So there's a method of that madness that we can possibly solve. But right now I'm asking to move forward on something for PPE. So we've been able to set up everybody with great gear, Auto X stuff, new helmets, gloves, boots. But the suits are what I'm shooting for as soon as possible. So I've shopped around only the 2 suppliers, AJ Stone and PPE Solutions. We've always used PPE Solutions, but I find the gear at AJ Stone a little bit better bang for your buck. So the pricing is almost identical, but the gear is better built, better suited for firefighters. In that conversation, I'm asking for, I would guess I would say an amendment to a bylaw or a bylaw would need to be stated in regards to payment of the truck. I don't see any more funding coming down the pipes anytime soon. There's small amounts that we were able to get the $8,000 grant from the OFM this year to cancer prevention products, which we got approved for. And then I just got a phone call last week. We were allotted another $5,600, which could go to new suits as well. So that could be a jump start there, and also, through AMO. Belinda has received, correspondence that they have a program out called Canoe. Which entitles us to work with suppliers, to be able with them. Another fire. To receive approximately 30% off on purchases. So this is something Belinda is going to sign up for. And we'll work forward to trying to achieve that as well, and then see what other funding is available. Without having an increase in the budget for 2025. I was looking at the structure we have broke down for repayment of the fire truck. So we were on I believe, a 13-year repayment plan of 30,000. $300 and some a year. $30,089.28 per year of the truck, so. My thought was that we, how am I gonna say, I can't even word that.
I,
Pause.
Yeah, pause that
that
line
you don't
item.
make that payment.
Yeah, like pause that line item. I wanna keep, like, we can't abolish that loan. We need to pay it back, but pause it for, 1 to 3 years. To gain, a little bit of that money that could help progress the fire department. Like right now, we're lacking storage. We're lacking some PPE and still lacking some building upgrades that are hard to get done with the allotted budget that I have. I could obviously ask for an increase in budget, but I do not want to do that. I'm looking at different ways to keep the budget the same and work around it. So my ask is for a pause on that line item. Fire truck. What's it called? Fire truck loan principal to reserves. So, yeah,
So how much is one set of PPE?
about approximately $3,000, so 3,000 to 3,100
And it
before taxes.
possibly, we could be getting another 30%.
30%, yeah, so
off of
so
it.
if you took the 10 suits, it's $9,000 in savings right there, right? So it drops it down from, 31,000 to 23,000,
And we are looking at 10 suits.
approximately 10, yeah. Now, that being said, some of the suits that are still in great shape. Could still stay as well, right? New members coming on, we just, until. Last year and the year before. We just got rid of suits from the previous term. So we kept them that long, so we've had suits. They were 20 years old, but we had them, we were able to utilize them till then and. So now we're in the midst of looking to resolve this, and I would have tried to stretch it out a few more years, but. It's been brought to other people's attention and the OFM, so it's. When it comes to me from them and the liability standpoint that comes forward, it's an issue for me.
So there's the PPE. And it sounds like the SCBA here could potentially be fined for another 5 years.
As long as the manufacturer can fix and pass.
You can get
We're still
parts.
okay, right? Yeah.
So other than that, because we're talking about 90,000 potentially. Other than that, what were the building upgrades or?
So there's still lots of work to do in the interior of the fire hall. Still lots of work to do on the exterior. The parking lot is a disgrace and needs to be fixed. And I have no storage. We're still facilitating a CCAN. Which we're not supposed to on the back of our property. which was just temporary storage while we did the renovation. But we don't have room, so. We were, you know, we turned our training room into a station, which is awesome. But we lost that space, right?
Counselor McDonald, do you want to start us off? What are your thoughts?
Well, I kinda, I was in the fire department and I know that the cost is expensive. It's high to run the fire department, but we need it and I got the confidence in the fire chief and all the firemen. That deal, and we gotta protect it, make sure that they got their proper gear and everything else, and it's costly. Been in the fire department for years, I can understand upkeep and all the turnout gear and everything, it's costly, but we have to do it.
I try to stretch it like, you know, stuff that's supposed to be done every year, compressor maintenance and all that. We don't use it enough, but I do get it done every 2 years. There's stuff that has to be done, or air breathing, our apparatus itself and the bottles all get tested. Stuff I have to do, but there's stuff I try to extend that, you know. But this just kind of breaks the ice. It's a concern. You know, we go to an exterior fire and somebody gets burnt and, you know, heaven forbid, you know, but then we have to deal with the consequences after that. And one of the consequences is gonna be, what is the age of your suit? So the recommendation is 10 years. That the suits are abolished. That's the guideline. It's a guideline, clearly a guideline. But I'm not comfortable pushing it into other than I've had.
Oh, you gotta keep everything up to, you know, like, you're responsible for all your.
Protect the workers, right?
And council responsible for you and your firemen. And,
Yep.
And I got no problems if you got to keep it running to efficient and safe for all the firemen.
So I'm looking at another way, like to try and get around this. Without having to increase the budget another $30,000 or more or less, or.
When I listen to you, I don't know how you can go around it. We're gonna have to face the problem and face it the dollars, and by the looks of it.
Counselor Dave Petty.
Well, I got a few thoughts. If he does increase the budget for next year, doesn't mean that number will be in play the following year, because that purchase is over and done with. So there's several ways we can do it. We can extend your fire truck loan, or we can take it out of our reserves, emergency budgeting. I've got no issues. We've got to get it done. So it's just a matter of which is the best financial way to do it.
Counselor McVeigh.
The only question I have, Chief, just so everybody's aware, is what is the like when do we have to get another truck, and when are we gonna have to get another loan? So we don't fall, like if we stretch this loan, if we pause this loan for 2 years or 3 years, how is this gonna affect us in the next truck?
So 2039. So we're good for
Oh.
20 years. Our truck's a 2019, that's our front line. So our front line is good for 20 years. So we do need to budget for a new truck. You're right. We do need to start putting reserves away, because there will come a time when, again, and it's not $400,000 this time, it's gonna be $1 million next time. You know.
No,
prices of-
thank you. I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention, because I knew that was gonna be, it's gonna be the next hurdle we're gonna have, right? And thank you very much.
Thanks.
So no other comments, Counselor McVeigh?
No, I don't have any.
So are we talking about pausing the loan repayment, or basically us forgiving? I mean, we could just start with the idea of 1 year, is that? Cause there are different ways of, but really, whether you raise the budget 30,000 or we forgive 30,000, isn't that approximately the same?
there's a couple different ways you could look at it. If we pause the loan payment for 2025 and just put it at the end of the payment span, we're not actually losing anything because it's just going back into reserve.
Yeah, there's no,
It's just,
Yeah.
it'll just keep the budget, at a
par.
more
Yeah,
normal
yeah.
level.
we're not gonna
and-
bump the budget up,
It does
30.
push it back a few years, or at least one.
but it doesn't change my budget for that fiscal year, right? I'm not asking
Right.
for another $30,000. It's not capital, it's not, reserves.
Is there any way moving forward, we could get a copy of your, the invoices that like the quotes you've gotten or, like just on a budget? When we do, you receive quotes and you tell us how much for what you're intending. Is there any way we can?
Yeah, I have quotes, yeah.
Receive that and then also maybe get the information from your
Yeah, the
procurement. I always want to call it purchasing, it's procurement. They always call it
That's something I'm gonna be working on with them next week, and then we can start getting some quotes from them the following week.
so I wonder if moving forward, we collect some financial information. And
Yeah, I already have it because I have it for the grant, so. There's only 2 suppliers, and I just purchased 2 suits for them last week for Baldwin, and it's easy peasy.
okay, so if we collect all the financial information is also, I mean, another way of looking at it is that we do this in next year's budget. Which really is what we're gonna be doing. Like, we're not, that's what we're talking about. Yeah,
Is it that time sensitive that we need to talk about it?
Well, we're gonna be, you're probably looking at $500-600 a difference this year, starting January 2025.
well,
That's why, yeah,
And not to mention that the suits are no good already,
yeah.
so.
It's just how we proceed. If we gotta wait till 2025, then we wait till 2025. It's not, I mean, there's no guarantee that the price is gonna go up. There's no guarantee it's gonna stay where it is. It might stay where it is. There's no, can't predict that, right?
But sorry, so we're just splitting hairs on when we're gonna do this, if we're gonna do it for the year. And we're either gonna increase his budget by 30,000, we're gonna pause his the loan repayment for a year or whatever, like what?
It's technically
think
gonna be a 2025 item.
Okay,
You can't change. I've
this
already-
year's
Yeah. we've already-
budget.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's just getting all the information, so we know exactly where the money is going.
Okay, so do we want a resolution that will prepare an itemized list with quotes and bring it back?
Yep, and then we still have December that we can,
Do we want to put any mention that that we're going to pause the loan for next year, or do we want to?
I say we look at exactly the numbers that we're actually dealing with. And chief, if you have the PPE numbers, you do that. So I guess you weren't actually talking about any cost for the SCBA. But then maybe the building upgrades as well. So how much? Oh, no, to do the PPE is,
it's 30 grand.
Yeah.
Pending
Yeah.
what aim. can
yeah, it's a
provide.
lot of bacon.
It's a number that's stuck in my head, and that prepayment rate is stuck in my head, so I was just trying to get ahead of it.
what's
When did
chief, sorry, chief, what's the time frame on when you order new gear to getting the new gear as well?
Through PPE Solutions, 3 to 7 months pending. AJ Stone, 1 month. So I'll have purchased gear last week and I'll have it before Christmas. And
Okay,
it's
thank you.
it's the same price, yeah. But Trev, I don't know anymore, like. It all depends on supply and demand, I guess.
Yep, no, it was just a question I wanted to, I didn't know, and I thought our fellow counselors and people else that are on Zoom would know. Like you say, the one supplier, it's 7 months. That's gonna make our gear 7 months old when we get, like, or 7 months more
Yeah,
for our gear. So instead of being 12 years, it's gonna be, might as well say 13 by the time
Yeah.
this rolls around. So, just so, that was just a question I had in my head. Thank
Yeah.
you.
and when does your loan actually get paid off for the?
It was a 13-year loan, so we started that in 2019 or 2020,
I think in 19.
yeah.
So it would
So we're
be,
4 years into a 13-year-old.
I'm trying to think backwards, so it's like 2033, so you basically have 6 years, right? Before we have to purchase another truck.
No, we have,
Yeah, by the time the truck is paid. We have.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
when you paid off.
Yeah.
It's, okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Counselor McVeigh, can you move this and, oh, Counselor McVeigh,
It's gone.
Counselor Deputy, could you second it?
Absolutely.
Should we be worried about him? And maybe Wi-Fi?
Oh, there was one.
On your.
Oh, there it is. There.
you're muted, Trev.
You're muted.
Sorry, I'm having an issue here at camp with the Wi-Fi, but, yeah, I heard everything.
Okay, so you're fine with firsting that?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Moved by Counselor Day, second by Counselor Deputy. Whereas counselors received information from the fire chief regarding the need to replace the firefighters PPE in 2025. And be it resolved that staff will prepare an itemized report detailing all required PPE and quotes for costs for the next meeting. All in favor?
In favor.
That's carried. And I guess we're not worrying about the other things because that's basically 30,000 or a good chunk of 30,000.
Yeah, the draw was to 1 to 3 to continue. Without increasing budget, right? A small pause on that truck loan, I could. Catch up on some other things that we need to have done without having to take from reserves or. Capital.
So you still have another matter, the garbage. Or the burn.
Oh, yes.
Or sorry,
Bylaw.
changing, yeah. From if you want to speak to that.
So most of you know, or I will say, yeah, most of you do know that with the. We'll call it abolishing of the burning permits that we had in the municipality. We fell back solely on the bylaw. And then the rights to activate a fire ban or change a fire rating at any time. Wording throughout the municipality, complaints, no complaints, I heard. Nothing really negative, other than our bylaw, which hasn't changed, is not being followed, so. With the permits in place before, the permits had stated that burning could commence after 7 PM. October 31st and continue till 8 AM, 7 PM to 8 AM. Till I believe it was April 30th or the 1st of April, October 30th till April 1st or April 30th. We demolished or we abolished the burning permits and we solely fell on M&R guidelines and our bylaw. But there seems to be some problems in the municipality with people burning during the day. I haven't had any formal complaints on garbage, but the municipality has complaints about garbage burning, but it doesn't really come back to a permit issue. So what's happened is that our bylaw always stated that we could only burn between 7 in the morning or 7 at night till 8 in the morning, between whatever it is, May 1st and October 31st. But there was never any writing after that, but I may be wrong, maybe the bylaw does state that you, all your, it's not dated in the bylaw, right?
Yeah,
It
it's
just
not,
stated, it just
Yeah.
simply states
it just
7
says,
PM to 8 AM.
yeah, so that's the confusion.
Yeah, so we eliminated our permits, which weren't correct from the start, and now we have some minor variances, that need to be changed. So I ask, that we make an amendment to the bylaw to add the, I'm gonna call it, evening hour burning, recommendations from October 31st till, I believe it's April 31st.
Maybe I misunderstand. I thought we were from October 31st to April 30th, removing any time restrictions, so people could burn.
24 hours,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, okay, so we're, all right, how do you feel about that, Counselor
I have no
McDonald?
problem with that.
No problem? No, Counselor McVeigh?
I have no problem.
With that, all right.
So I just need a first and second on that.
Counselor McDonald, do you want to?
Yeah, go ahead.
And Counselor Despatie? Moved by Counselor McDonald, second by Counselor Despatie, whereas council has received information from Fire Chief proposing an amendment to bylaw 2021-27, being a bylaw to provide for the regulation of open air burning and precautions to be taken by persons setting fires to allow for burning any time of the day between the dates of October 31st to April 30th. And be it resolved that council agrees with the proposed amendment to allow for this and direct staff to prepare the amendment for the next council meeting. All in favor? It's carried.
So we can make more paperwork.
My husband will be so happy. Cause he looks stuff up, right? So-
All other municipalities follow the MNR guidelines.
And they don't have a burning bylaw. Well, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for all your hard work and all of your emergency work, and thank you for everything.
Have a good night.
Thanks, chief.
Accepting minutes. First by Counselor McDonald, second by Counselor Austin, be it resolved that the following council minutes be accepted as presented. Regular council meeting minutes, October 21st, 2024, and B closed session meeting minutes, October 21st, 2024. All in favor? That's carried.
Okay, so this is just to note minutes and reports as received.
Moved by Counselor Austin, second by Counselor McDonald, be it resolved that the minutes and reports of items 7A to I are noted as received. All in favor? That's carried.
So this is a draft motion to consider agenda item 12A, other business, in advance of considering report 7A.
Okay. So, okay, so this is a motion to consider having Counselor Austin speak to us before the Integrity Commissioner's report. And as I understand, this is pretty standard procedure. Is everyone okay with that?
Yes.
Counselor McDonald's moving.
Sure.
Counselor Despatie?
I will second that.
Moved by Counselor McDonald, second by Counselor Despatie. Be it resolved that council agrees to consider the agenda item 12A in other business in advance of considering minutes and reports of item 7A. All in favor? That's carried.
Okay, so the next motion might be a little bit redundant, but it's just to consider what item 12A is.
Okay. Counselor McDonald, how do you? Counselor McVeigh, I'm putting you in here in a second. It's very similar to what we just did. So moved by Counselor McDonald, second by Counselor McVeigh, whereas councils received the other business item 12A notice of motion from Counselor Austin requesting that he be able to make a statement in advance of considering the recommendations included in the Integrity Commissioner's report that was presented to council on October 21st, 2024, and be it resolved that council agrees to his request. All in favor? That's carried. So that means that Counselor Austin is speaking to us now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm not very good at speeches, but as you can well expect, I do not agree with the Integrity Commissioner's report issued on October or August 30th, 2024. I did not speak at the October council meeting as I had only seen the report a few minutes before the meeting and I wanted to study it before addressing it. First off, I looked at 4 different dictionaries about the pecuniary. And as you would expect, it's all about money, losses or gains. So in my case, there was no loss or gain to be had after Richard had declared to me that he was not going to be able to purchase the property on Minto Street for either him or me. So I did not see any need to declare a pecuniary interest on the dates mentioned in the complaint. As for the person that filed the complaint, they did not know or ask that Richard was not involved in the purchase of the property anymore. As for the fire department business, I still cannot see any pecuniary interest for myself or the fire chief. I have always declared a conflict when wages or personal benefits were involved. I do not believe this is a conflict when it comes to the rest of the budget. There is no conflict when I vote to increase my own wages as a counselor, but there's a conflict when I discuss someone else's benefits. But as per our commissioner's report, I will declare a conflict with the fire department items if that is council's wishes. I will follow their direction. Also, I did not consider that this investigation was done properly. I spoke with Belinda. I did vote to renew the commissioner's contract only to save the work required to find another one. No, in the investigation that was supposed to be completed, I received an email with questions. I sent an email with answers and you got a report. That was the investigation. I asked, is this an investigation? There was never any personal contact at all to discuss items. Also, there was no mention of the complaint in our commissioner's report of the items that were, what's the word I want to, were not in conflict. He never mentioned a thing in his report about them items. In the report, and I figured this was incorrect. Okay, that's all I have to say, and I thank you for listening.
Thank you, Counselor Austin. Yes, this is kind of an unpleasant process. At this point, do we discuss the Integrity Commissioner's recommendations? And is Counselor Austin involved in that discussion? It just seems awkward.
Yeah.
Yes.
Generally, they decline to be, but, yeah, I would assume since it involves remuneration, he may want to abstain, but I can't give that advice.
Counselor Despatie?
Yeah, I have a question. This is all on the record.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason why he can't stay.
Oh, I don't think he needs to leave.
Yeah, I was just
All right.
clarifying.
Because I have a few comments myself,
Okay,
when we're ready for the discussion.
sure. So this is our motion, generally speaking, but sure, Counselor Despatie, why don't you go ahead?
Thank you for this opportunity. So I'd like to say that I haven't known Counselor Austin, for a very long time, probably just about less than 3 years. I can, however, tell you, that I have observed Counselor Austin, at every council meeting and other, related meetings, town-related meetings. During these meetings, Councillor Austin has conducted himself in a very professional manner and always putting the community's interest first and foremost. He has always been respectful towards other council members. Now, as for the IC report and Integrity Commissioner's report, there are several infractions that Councillor Austin has allegedly committed. However, the Integrity Commissioner has not provided any evidence that Councillor Austin had any pecuniary interest in any of the allegations. The Integrity Commissioner has not provided any evidence that Councillor Austin attempted to influence the vote of any other council member. The Integrity Commissioner provided no evidence that Councillor Austin had a conflict of interest regarding these allegations. And I would suggest, just because his son it was firstly considering purchasing the property, afterwards it was a total wash. He said he's not. So there's no evidence at all that Councillor Austin was going to make any money on any of these deals. And even on speaking on the fire budget, there's no evidence that he would make money off it. There's no evidence that Councillor Austin used his position to influence other parties involved in the community to favor his son in any dealings. Now, as for voting on the fire department budget, I said, I don't understand why Councillor McVeigh and Madam Mayor, you're allowed to vote on issues regarding the fire department, and Councillor Austin isn't. And I happen to agree that the three of you are probably better positioned as firefighters, as knowing the lingo and the complexities of the job. You're more qualified to vote on a budget than Councillor McDonald or myself. So I think this was all baseless accusations against Councillor Austin, and I'm going to oppose any vote to sanction him in any way, shape, or form. That's my statement.
Councillor McDonald.
Yeah, I just like to add a little bit more, because I know Wayne for all my life, all his life, he's younger than I am. And, you know, he was in the fire department for 28 years. He was the fire chief for 23 years. He'd been on, he was the reeve of the town for one term. And I volunteered every time there's something going on, he's volunteering. And to go against him, like the councillor said there, it's not right, you know, like he shouldn't have to go. We're a council that we should start to realize that we communicate better. If we have to go in camera to communicate, solve a problem, we should go in camera and solve it without going to the public here. So, and for, like I said, Austin and his family, his father, I think his father was reading too, I think I'm not mistaken. You know, I can understand Wayne, because I've been in this town all my life. My dad just grew up here all his life, and this town means something to us. I know what he would do, nothing to harm this town at all. And he's a kind-hearted person. He's always volunteering, and over the years, everything, no matter what it is, he's volunteering. And I think this is a disgrace that this charge this in the first place. And that's all I got to say before I say too much. Now I'm gonna start.
Well, I would not want anyone to think that this is a smear on Councillor Austin's reputation or personal character. I don't think that's what this is about at all. And I think if the Integrity Commissioner was here, I think he would say the same thing, that it's about rules. Councillor Despatie, you brought up why are Trevor and I voting on fire issues now. We recently got, different, an opinion from the integrity commissioner. We have it in writing by email, that we should be allowed to vote on it. That does seem contrary to what we were previously told 2 years ago. He is looking into it in more detail and confirming that that's the way it is, but that he's told us to go ahead for this time being. Counselor McVeigh, did I hear you trying to say something? No?
No, I was gonna reiterate what you had said because I knew, I'd reached out to the integrity commissioner on, several cases. Like Counselor David, he had said, I think we have some insight that's great. And I felt, our hands were tied that we couldn't bring issues forward or bring ideas and thoughts, and that has been rectified as long as we are not getting, as long as we're not talking our pay. That's more or less been told to us, that we can't, that's about the only thing we can't look at is salaries for us, which is perfectly fine. So that issue's been resolved.
So the recommendations, moving forward for us to do these are the integrity commissioner's recommendations, that we do further training, which I feel we were kind of scheduled to do anyway. He wanted to review, the integrity commissioner's, policy to make sure it was in line with current, what was that?
Legislation.
Yeah, okay, so current laws, right? And that Counselor Austin, would lose 1 month of compensation that he receives for his service as counselor. So would anyone like to discuss anything, further?
I will vote against that, Madam Mayor.
I will too.
Counselor
Well,
McVeigh?
I thought Counselor McDonald had already abstained from all of this, I thought in the last meeting, but am I correct on this?
Yes, actually, that's true. You did declare a conflict.
The last meeting was the last meeting. This is about being in charge. I just.
That's what I thought you said you weren't gonna be part of, was this.
I declared conflict last meeting. And I know I made a mistake. This meeting here is about charging, and I'm not gonna declare conflict of interest.
Okay, I was just confused when you did it last time, so I was clarifying that for you, because I'm confused
Well,
now with it.
this is about two things. This is about being charged and now. And I realized I made a mistake. I'm only a counselor. I'm not a lawyer or not. So I might have made a mistake. I know I made a mistake that I declared conflict of interest last time, but I'm not, I feel that I have the right to vote on this tonight.
Okay, no, I was just clarifying what you'd said last meeting, that's all, sir. That's good,
Well,
thank you.
you go to the integrity commission. If I did wrong, well.
No,
I'll-
that has nothing to do with it, Mr. Counselor McDonald. I was just clarifying on what you'd said, so that it's perfectly fine, thank you.
That does actually concern me when I think sometimes we get into trouble where we declare conflicts and then we change them. I'm wondering if we need to get some clarification from the integrity commissioner, possibly have him speak directly with Counselor Austin because he was never directly spoken to.
Okay.
Is that something you would want, Counselor Austin?
No, I'm satisfied with what's going on here.
Okay.
So I had prepared two draft motions, one that included all the recommendations of the report, and then if council wants me to change that, I can certainly do that.
So you're not in support of the integrity commissioner's decision. What about training? Extra training, Counselor Despetit previously.
I've already settled that situation with CAO Ketchum.
Okay. Are you interested in more training?
No, I've been on council now for over 20 years and
Counselor Austin, more training?
I thought this was about me now, no.
He has recommendations. So one of them was losing a month of
We've been waiting for, almost a year for training from me, never showed up.
you're right, I don't know if it's been a year, but I thought we had been training for a long time. Or we've been trying to schedule it. Am I wrong? Yeah, okay.
And I also thought, sorry, guys, I had also thought that we needed, that the training was supposed to be, taking place and this was just gonna be, this wasn't really, he's saying, yes, Counselor Austin needs it, but I think we all need it.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's not training focused on Counselor Austin. It is training for everyone. I think we've been at this for a couple of years and we've learned a few things, but I don't think it could hurt. So I would vote in favor of training and the policy review. Now, the policy review may cost us a little bit. Do we know? Or look into an estimate?
I can look into an estimate for.
Okay, so do we have that all in a review? Or
I
in-
can write it.
Well,
You can just remove, one of the lines, or I can rewrite it, it's up to you.
well, why don't we just do it separately, that we're just doing the remuneration and then,
Okay. Just to defeat that?
How much longer? Probably an hour. So you guys,
Okay, so we'll go ahead.
yeah, thank you, sorry.
So that's how you want to do it, just do that, and then we'll talk about the other items.
okay, so Counselor McVeigh, do you want to first this? So this is just strictly about remuneration for a period of a month. So if they are going to vote about it, do they second it, but then they vote against it?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Counselor Day-Petit, are you okay with seconding?
Sure,
And
it
then,
can't be, defeated until it's presented, right?
so moved by Counselor McVeigh, seconded by Counselor Day-Petit, whereas an inquiry was conducted by the Integrity Commissioner in response to a request and a report was presented to council on October 21st, 2024. And whereas the Integrity Commissioner found that Counselor Wayne Austin did contravene the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act and the Council Code of Conduct. And whereas the report contained the following recommendations, that yeah, so I'm skipping this.
Oh, yeah. That's fine. Just get rid of that.
Whereas be it resolved that council suspends Counselor Austin's remuneration for the period of 1 month. And I'm going to ask for a recorded vote. Counselor Austin, are you voting?
Point of order,
Pardon?
point of order,
Okay,
we don't do the recorded vote according to our procedure.
okay, where's that?
I'm just gonna wait. I'm just suggest-
Amazing, a mayor can't call for a recorded vote?
You can call for it. Page 18 of 47.
So what are you saying, that I can't call?
Say it's the job of the CAO to record the vote.
Oh, okay, so you would just like her to record it?
Because last meeting, we had a recorded vote. And I had to ask you what you voted. You said you already voted, and I didn't know what you voted. When it's a recorded vote, every member should know who votes what.
Yes, you're right.
Okay, So, Mayor Mazie has requested the recorded vote. How would you like to vote first? Oh, do you want me to read it?
No, I just wanna make sure. Yeah, so I'm for.
Okay. Counselor Depati, are you for suspending the remuneration
No,
or
I'm
against? Okay. Counselor McDonald?
Against.
Against. Wayne, will you be voting?
I don't think I can vote, I don't know. the
Okay,
most-
I don't know, that's something we maybe need to.
And I don't know that, Mayor Mazie can vote because she was a complainant in this, so.
I don't think that's an issue, to be honest.
You know, it sounds like, we can just call in the integrity commissioner. It just seems like we have a lot of questions and points raised.
Councilor McVeigh has.
Counselor McVeigh? How do you vote?
Oh, you're muted, Counselor McVeigh.
Sorry, I'm against.
So that's defeated.
So Counselor McVeigh, I just want to clarify, that means that you're okay with him not be missing his 1 month, that you are in supporting of him continue to have his 1 month of him.
Correct.
Alright. So then this is talking about. So to that part.
Oh, this is about
Education and, if we wanna have. Look into, further reviews of our policies.
okay. So who would like to second this, Counselor Austin? Or Counselor McDonald? Okay, so moved by Counselor McVeigh, if that's okay.
Yep.
Okay, seconded by Counselor Austin, that council direct staff, pardon?
Sorry, you said Austin.
Oh, Counselor McDonald. Council direct staff to organize an education session for all council members. And council direct staff to have the township's code of conduct policy and integrity commissioner policy be reviewed to ensure that they are compliant with legislation. All in favor?
I am.
Yeah, I am too. But you are all no,
I am no, I don't.
No,
so it's defeated. So no training, no checking the conduct policy to see if it's compliant with legislation. Okay. Okay, next we have the OPP. Do we?
can we, just continue with what we were doing here for a moment?
With what exactly?
In my statement, I said that I would follow council's wishes, not the integrity commissioner, because I don't feel he's done his job right. And I'd like to know from council if they feel I should be voting on fire department budget.
We've already decided.
It wasn't specifically stated.
You know, council isn't, we can't make up contrary rules to,
There's no contrary rule. That's
yes,
not
there is.
contrary,
It's
that's an
the-
opinion.
The integrity commissioner has clearly said that there's a conflict. Like, the integrity commissioner is the governing body. And
He gave his opinion on something. He didn't show me in the exact rule where it says I can't do it. That's his opinion on what we have written in our policy.
Counselor Depati.
I would actually add that the integrity commissioner brought no evidence forward that it was a conflict for Councillor Austin to vote on fire, budget or fire items. He brought no evidence. Integrity
I
commissioner,
don't think he had to bring evidence. When you look at the meeting, you know who is the relationship, and he didn't declare a conflict. It's not,
having his son as the fire chief does not make it a conflict of interest with Counselor Austin.
The,
I disagree with you and I disagree with the integrity commissioner.
well,
Integrity commissioner has been wrong because he first told you and Counselor McVeigh not to vote on fire issues. And now he's recanted and said that you can vote. So what does he know? I don't think he knows much.
I think he may know more than all of us. He has years of experience in municipal government. And he is dealing with laws that he's giving an opinion and it's binding. We can't say we're not going to follow our governing rules by the Ontario government. They're put down and they're there for a reason.
Yeah, but he just changed his opinion like.
He just changed his opinion twice.
And he is researching it further and getting back to us. I know it does seem odd to me too.
It seems that the integrity commissioner needs more training.
Well, I think you need to be careful, Counselor Despetit, because we don't want to be speaking out against people that we should be with respect. And they do have authority over us.
Respect is earned, Madam Mayor.
No, people have authority over us and we just cannot run council however we like. We cannot make up the rules. We cannot all vote that we would like to do something differently, so we change the rules. That's not how it works. That's why we have a huge procedural bylaw. Okay, so moving along, next. We have the OPP, the new primary public answering safety point. Does anyone have any comments about it? Actually, I do. This is a cost to us of $209 a year. They're upgrading it, so now we can accept photo and video. They can know location better and information can be transferred easier. Is everyone on agreement with this? You have a question?
No,
You're agree with Counselor McVeigh?
Yep.
Okay, so moved by Counselor McDonald, second by Counselor Austin, whereas council has received for information the CAO report 2024-27. And be it resolved that the mayor and the CAO be authorized to execute the primary public safety answering point agreement with the Ontario Provincial Police to align with the requirements of the next generation 911 services. And further that the bylaw to enact the agreement be given 3 readings at the November 18th, 2024 meeting. All in favor? That's carried. And then we have the CNSC report. Okay, so there's a few things that we need to discuss with this. First, we have the Hutchinson report. And maybe CEO Petrova, you'd like to speak to that, the financial details of that?
Sure. Do you mind? So in the report, we talk about, Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission's report, and they gave us our situation, a whopping 1 page out of the huge report, which is, I've included in my report, so you didn't have to look all through that. In discussions with the environmental organization Northwatch, we had a representative attend our town hall on September 11th, and she was very effective in discussing impacts to communities from these types of decisions from the ministries. They have jumped on a grant that has allowed them to get funding to allow Hutchinson Environmental Sciences, prepare a secondary report to make comments on this, the CNSC's report. In discussions with them, they've suggested we collaborate with them. And that they will be allowing Hutchinson to share information that they're working on for them, so that we can make our own comments out on this report, and we can make intelligent comments with scientific backing behind them. So I've spoke to Hutchinson Environmental. They've prepared a quote to advise us with a report that we can include with our comments. The quote came in at $6,000 plus HST. I know that seems a little bit high, but I feel in the defending our environmental concerns in our community and our drinking water, that to me seems like a small price tag to pay to be better informed and have a report with scientific backing being presented on our behalf to Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission. And we can also use it in defense of further decisions on this matter. So it would be my recommendation that we do move forward with it. My administration budget does have some savings in it because we didn't end up hiring an intern at our cost. We got a grant for it. So I would be comfortable with this being put into my budget for this year. And I'm hoping council agrees.
Any comments about that? Councillor Dave Petit?
I have no problems, authorizing that expenditure. I only have a question. Will Baldwin be, paying half because it's
And also
still part of
Sauble Spanish River. Yeah, you're right, that we had mentioned that before.
So if, like, I mean, even if they don't, I think we should invest that money because it's a serious thing here.
I absolutely would like to present that to them. Unfortunately, I have to jump on this right now because the comments need to be submitted by December 10th and he needs time to put, these findings together, but we can absolutely reach out to the other communities for assistance.
I'm okay.
Councillor. Councillor McDonald?
Same.
All right, Councillor McVeigh?
I agree.
Okay, so let's. Oh, it's a huge resolution. Councillor McDonald, would you like to first that?
Sure.
Councillor Austin, would you like to second?
Yeah.
Moved by Councillor McDonald, second by Councillor Austin, whereas council has received the information for the CAO's report 2024-28. And whereas the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission has released a regulatory oversight report concerning uranium mines and mills, historic and decommissioned sites, and the township has an opportunity to provide public comments on the report before December 2024 deadline. Whereas the draft report contains limited information about the Agnew Lake site, including the shipment and use of approximately 20,000 meters cubed of niobium bearing naturally occurring radioactive material and the long-term monitoring of the site. And whereas Northwatch and Hutchinson Environmental has offered to collaborate with the township to prepare comments on the CNSC's report. Whereas staff has received a quote from Hutchinson Environmental in the amount of $6,000 to conduct a professional review and comment on potential groundwater effects from the proposed disposal at the Agnew Lake site, which will be submitted as part of the township's comment on the CNSC's report. Therefore, be it resolved that council directs staff to accept the quote from Hutchinson Environmental in the amount of $6,000 for the professional review. Prepare a formal submission to the CNSC on the draft regulatory oversight report, addressing both the content of the report and broader concerns related to the Agnew Lake mine, including long-term environmental monitoring, health and safety impacts, and transparency and reporting by the Ministry of Mines. Collaborate further with Northwatch and Hutchinson Environmental, utilizing their scientific findings to inform the township submission while ensuring that the township's response is distinct and focused on municipal concerns. Continue pursuing the release of annual reports on Agnew Lake from the Ministry of Mines, providing updates to council as new information becomes available. All in favor? That's carried. So this would probably be an appropriate time to talk about next steps with the Agnew Lake. And we've received advice from a few experienced political people that one thing that we might need to do is, you know, we've had a lot of excitement in September. And now that's kind of died off, but we should try to keep our story and our name in the media with this issue so that people remember. So that will be happening, and hopefully the media is interested in this story. We would be interested in having a town hall again, but we don't have new information. Is that something everyone would be interested in doing, especially when we get answers to our questions that we've submitted?
Well, it'd be a good way for the taxpayers to know what's going on in this town, you know, have an open house once in a while. Yeah, I agree to that.
Yeah. Counselor Austin,
I mean, we need it.
Counselor McVeigh?
Have we got back the answers to the questions?
No, that's what we're waiting for.
Okay, no, that's what I thought, and I was just like, is there a timeline? Like, are we expecting something? Like I
we-
get it, but I'm just asking.
We don't know when we will be getting them. I kind of feel most people aren't going to be really interested in hearing about this in December. But then we also know that the trucks might start moving in the spring. So we need to try to keep our name in the media and try to keep interest up if we want to defeat it, which seems to, that is what we have said. Counselor Dave Petit?
Yes, I totally agree with that. And actually, I was speaking with the CAO Catchable before the meeting. I would suggest if the story is true that the chief of West Nipissing said that if the municipality that didn't want it, that he wouldn't force it on us. So maybe we can thank him for that statement and tell him we don't want it. So please don't force it on us.
I don't know if it's his final decision. You're right, he has been on my list to thank him. He's been very fair with his comments. But I don't, there's a lot of people invested in this at this point, and I don't know if he makes the decision of where it goes.
No, but if we have a voice there, it's better than nothing.
No, you're right. You're right.
If she's a man.
Sorry, we haven't reached out to him. We haven't reached out to them yet. I thought we were doing that to thank them for their.
Yeah, I just haven't done it.
Okay.
It has been busy. There's a few people that have, you know, Michael Mantha has spoken up for us, and there's been a few, you know, Carol Hughes, France, Jelenas as well has spoken, you know, there's been a few people. I've thanked some of them, but I haven't gotten to him yet. He was a little bit more, you know what, his comments, how they were a month ago, and I've just, anyway. Are there any other ideas about how to, proceed forward with Agnew Lake?
When we discussed, like keeping ourselves in the media, I know Baldwin had stated, that they had a billboard and they were looking at possibly putting something on it. I've never heard nothing again from that. I was wondering if, our mayor could reach out to them, maybe at a small cost doing that, and then that may give us some attention on the highway, and it might also, make some media, you know, pay attention to us again, and it just keeps it in people's face when it's on a billboard. And I know Councillor, Chief Mayor Gorham had stated that that was something he was looking at doing.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. I mean, and possibly even in the spring, we could organize a demonstration if it's still proceeding forward, and if people are really excited about it. I'm talking about a peaceful demonstration, but where people show that they're concerned and they're supporting the cause. But no one wants to do that in January, so we've got to pick a good time. Any other ideas about that?
I think we can bring it to the Lacrosse Municipal
Yeah.
Association to
Yeah.
have the other municipalities maybe brainstorm with us as well.
Yeah, we'd already talked about that. Okay, so next we have the drinking water. Does anybody have any comments about our financial plan for municipal drinking water? Any questions? Okay, so moved by Councillor Austin, second by Councillor McDonald, whereas council has received for information the CAO's report 2024-29. And whereas the township is required to maintain a financial plan for its municipal drinking water system in compliance with Ontario Regulation 453/07 under the Safe Drinking Water Act as part of the application for renewal of the Drinking Water Works permit and municipal drinking water licenses. And whereas the financial plan outlines the long-term financial sustainability of the township's drinking water system, ensuring the continued safe operation, maintenance, and necessary capital improvements for the Nairn Water Treatment Center. And be it resolved that council approve the 10-year financial plan as presented and direct council staff to submit the approved plan to the Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks as part of the township's renewal application. All in favor? That's carried. Oh, any discussion about changing the municipal office hours for Christmas?
Whatever it takes.
It does mean there is an extra week to pay the water bill.
Good.
And I guess I would also encourage you to put out a flyer because of the changes with garbage, especially if we have Canada Post operating.
Yeah, for sure. We can definitely do that.
Councillor McVeigh, anything?
Nope, it's all good.
Okay, moved by Councillor McDonald, second by Councillor Austin, whereas council has received for information the CAO's report 2024-30. And be it resolved that council approves that the municipal office will be closed throughout the holiday season from Wednesday, December 25th, 2024.
Oops, sorry.
To and including Wednesday, January 1st, 2025. And further, that employees will use vacation time for the days of December 27th, 30th, and 31st. All in favor? That's carried.
We will be putting out a notice for garbage at all.
Well, Canada Post is on strike, so that means,
We'll have to use the
yeah,
web or something.
Yeah, we'll
because
definitely,
If garbage pickup's gonna be Monday instead of Wednesday, that's a big difference.
it is a big deal.
yeah, we'll definitely make that as public as we absolutely can.
Yeah,
And we will put out a flyer as soon as Canada Post gets back.
yeah.
Okay.
It is tricky without Canada Post running. So next we have Parks and Recreation minutes. Is there just a motion?
There's a couple. So first up is the
Message?
recommendation to consider a community board with a light near the mailboxes.
So yeah,
I do.
the Recreation Committee has asked that we consider putting in a bulletin board, near the mailboxes, and also there has been a request for lighting. So there is, maybe you could speak to the lighting on the back of the fire hall.
Yeah, so we do have, sorry, it's on the back of this building right here. There is outside lights. We've tested them, one works, two of them don't. So we're gonna try to troubleshoot that. But if for whatever reason it's not providing enough light back there, we do need to discuss lighting solutions around the mailboxes. And with this request for a community board, it would be a great place to put a light, or we can do multiple lights.
So basically, we could ask our CAO to get quotes, or we could give her a budget, or we could not do, a lot of people have mentioned a light. And recreation is asking for a board specifically, you know, if you could imagine two posts with a little roof and, plexiglass thing that you can lift and post your posters under. So how do you feel about that? Counselor Austin?
I think they'll probably get broken. But we're back there in the Nairn.
Yeah, probably.
Well, I think we should get those lights fixed there first thing. And then, once it's well lit, maybe, there'd be less damage less chance of damage.
Yeah,
Let's get those lights fixed, no
Yeah.
matter what.
it's true. That tells us what we need. Counselor McVeigh?
I think it's a great idea, and I think putting the lights on it solves an issue because it is awful dark back there, and I do realize there's the other two lights are on the back of the fire hall aren't working, but we get those lights fixed and then we do that. I think it'd be a great idea.
So that you can also just put solar lights right on the message board. Right? You don't have to wire it, you just.
Yeah.
Yeah, so would you like quotes or? Yes.
I have a
Counselor Austin.
question, we have a hydro pole right back there, is there not room to put a street light on it?
There is a street light on it. Unfortunately, they didn't put the mailboxes where we instructed them to.
No, is there not a hydro pole close behind the fire hall?
I'd have to look.
I don't know.
Can I go look?
Yeah, should we take a recess or?
Sure.
Yeah, take a 5-minute
There is, we can put the street
recess.
light right on.
Yes, we are.
All right, so we were looking at the lights. Who would like to report on what you saw?
I would make a motion that there's a pole there that we put a street light on it. And that would solve, to me, would solve our issues.
A lot of problems, yeah, I agree.
You don't want to wait till we see what the lighting is like from the building, or does it just look too far away?
Well, no, that's a good point, yeah. If we can, but if the cost of fixing those two lights is just as much as putting a street light. What's the difference?
So CAO Ketchum, speaking to the cost of the street light.
Yeah, we put one in, I wanna say approximately 2 years ago on Birch Street. And I feel like it was around $2,500 and the pole was already there,
Okay.
so. I can get definite quotes though,
But we
when we
can
do it.
We certainly have to look into fixing at least what we have.
Yeah.
If, and turning them on.
Counselor McVeigh, did you have a comment?
It was just, I think we should get a quote on the light post before we say, yes, we're gonna do it, because it may shock us.
So why don't we do that, a motion to fix the lights and get a quote for the street light, and would you like quotes for a?
Upgrading the lighting. That is there, if that's gonna work.
Yeah, so to fix the lighting we have, and then a quote for a street light, would you also like a quote for the message board?
Yes,
I'd like a quote for, if that lighting isn't quite enough, if we upgraded it, would it be enough? And what is that cost gonna be? If we upgraded the lights on the buildings,
Okay, so
Yeah,
we're
good.
talking about fixing these lights, upgrading these lights and a street light.
Yeah.
Okay. And a message board.
Yes.
Correct.
One question. Is that light on? The
It
one that
is.
is working?
I believe so, unless someone switched it off.
Okay.
Is there nothing on out there?
No, there was a light, yeah.
Okay, there's a couple more.
The light at the back of the fire hall was on. But, I don't know, if this one was on, it was kind of dark.
Moved by Counselor McVeigh, is that okay?
Yes.
Second by Counselor Despatie. Whereas councils received the Community Parks and Recreation Community Minutes dated October 30th, 2024. And whereas resolution 2024 rec 43 recommends that council consider installing a covered community board and a light near the mailboxes. Resolved that council directs to have the building lighting fixed, to receive a quote for the upgraded lighting and another street light and a message board. All in favor? That's carried. Was there anything
Yeah,
else?
then there
Are we
was
at
this
the
great-
municipal?
There was just a couple budget requests for early 2025.
Okay, so moved by Counselor Austin, second by Counselor McDonald. Whereas council has received the Community Parks and Recreation Committee minutes dated October 30th, 2024. Whereas resolution 2024 rec 46 requests that council consider approving a budget of $1,000 for 2025 February Fall Frolics event, and be it resolved that council approves the requested amount. All in favor? That's carried. And actually, this amount of $300 would be covered by admission charge of people. So it's saying the budget is 300 for cooking classes, but you know, it's like you would pay $10 and you would take home your pie. So moved by Counselor McDonald, seconded by Counselor Austin, whereas council has received the Community Parks and Recreation Committee minutes dated October 30th, 2024. Whereas resolution 2024 rec 47 requests that council consider approving a budget of $300 for a monthly cooking class in January, February, and March of 2025. Be it resolved that council approves the requested amount. All in favor? That's carried. It's moved by Counselor McDonald, second by Counselor Austin. Be it resolved that council accepts the municipal superintendent's report as presented. All in favor? It's carried.
Can we have a discussion on that?
Yes.
Report?
Yes, so he discussed Sand Bay, that the road work was done, that the village was graded. There is repairs to the vehicles, the beach has been vandalized. What would you like to talk about?
Okay, I'll start with the roads. We have a steady process of selling potholes. When we see other municipalities, they use a mechanical tamper to pack the potholes. We drive over with the vehicle and leave. I don't think this is the way we should be doing it. I think we should modify our position on how we do the
Do
pothole.
we have a tamper?
No,
No, no.
I think this is something that should be considered. And then we go down,
Well, let's see, so
Okay.
everyone, anybody have any comments on that? I don't know enough about road work, I'm not Nothing, Counselor McVeigh? It's just
Well,
your,
I do know that, I've seen a lot of city of Sudbury people with the camper, I agree. But if we don't have one, we'll have to buy one.
Buy one, maybe get rent.
Or you can rent them or you can buy them and they vary from $600-700 up to a couple thousand.
Yeah.
But that's, it would be a budget item for the
For next year.
superintendent.
Well, they spent a lot of time.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you rented one, it costs you a
how
fortune.
do we proceed forward with that if we're interested in it?
I think you guys have a public works meeting coming up
We should.
in
we
December,
should.
I believe, so maybe it could be discuss them.
Mhm.
Cause I think, he was gonna start talking about capital items, so
Will you remember that, Counselor Austin?
I'll bring it, I'll bring it to
Okay.
us.
yeah.
Okay,
The other thing, the beach is an ongoing thing, but nobody seems to want to talk about it as to what can we do to solve these issues?
no, it's a great thing to talk about. Do you have any suggestions?
Yes, I do.
Excellent.
I was very upset to start with that the town fixed a road down to the beach. I said, as long as I lived here, we had a trail down to the beach and we didn't have vehicles on the beach. And we didn't have big parties down there because we didn't have a road so they could drive.
I mean, there's a road down there now?
Yeah, well, you could drive your car down there, your truck go down.
For a long
We've always
time.
had vandalism. Really easy.
Did you say we've always had vandalism or we?
Yes, we always have. There's always something. The picnic tables are thrown in the river. I think we're contributing to it by making it easy for them to do it. And well, I said we had that. And one other thing I'd like to council to do is to pass a bylaw that the beach is closed from September, whatever, to May the 1st. No public use. There's no reason for anybody to be down the beach.
Many
Then that
people,
gives the police authority to charge you with trespassing.
many people walk to the beach or,
You're not gonna bother anybody that walks down there, but when they're driving down and partying, they're gonna, I would hope that the police would.
I think the police is a major issue we have to deal with, because I don't believe they're down there,
You don't
they-
go down there.
that's right, and they're not gonna go down there, even if we put a sign saying, don't be here, I don't think. I think it's unfortunate, we need more enforcement on that.
I have seen the police down there on holiday weekends, at the beach. I mean, in years past. But
That's not when we have the trouble. it's
No.
after.
yeah, who wants to go there Sunday night at 10 PM? CAO Petrova.
Just so council knows that we are trying to work out this problem. The municipal superintendent and I have been brainstorming. And we have decided to place a very large load of gravel at the entrance to just, for during these times that you mentioned, that,
Yeah.
you know,
When we-
October to
If we
April.
pass a bylaw and close it, then you can put that up and.
Well, theoretically, you could close it,
Theoretically,
like all year round, and not close the beach, but not have the driveway be used.
Yeah.
So you keep the gravel at the top.
I mean, eventually the gravel will disappear, but, we feel it would be a deterrent for those going down to use the beach for other
If I
bad
can
uses.
mention in the past, they've put boulders there that I couldn't move with my tractor. And we actually, I think Ron will remember, we put steel posts in there, steel girders. So that nobody in vehicles couldn't go down. And you go down there and the boulders are moved and the steel girders are cut off. What do you?
One community member did approach me and say they had access to a cherry picker and they would be willing to put a camera high up in a tree. Now, I think if it was visible in any way, it would be removed and destroyed.
Yeah. That's-
Cause I mean, signage is destroyed down there. A lot of, so that, I mean, that's an idea.
We need to try something. You know, but we're working on.
So do you want to make a decision tonight, or would you like to talk about it at the Public Works meeting, or?
Well, I'd like Belinda and the superintendent to look at it and see what they can come up with.
Yeah, we've discussed a camera. We unfortunately, like we have cameras at different places that are remote. They're vandalized or stolen all the time.
Yeah.
We feel if someone did know there was a camera down there, it would be shot at or
Yeah,
and removed. Should we try it? I mean. We'd be open to council suggestions. It's just. Do we want to throw good money after bad? You know
if
what I
you
mean?
put a camera down near the beach, not up at the.
Yeah.
The entrance,
We would just have to disguise it
wouldn't be
very
so
well.
visible.
We could also, going with your vein of closing the beach, you could say the beach is closed every night at 10 PM till dawn, right? So,
Well, there is signs there saying no camping.
well, but I think people are coming late on a Saturday or a Sunday. We could also do a community patrol too. Or I know we've asked bylaw to go,
Yes.
so that hasn't really worked.
If we read the bylaw, that could be included all in it. That bylaw closing it off at certain times.
So we're not wanting to make a decision right now. We'll talk about it in Public Works.
Sure.
Correct.
I like the gravel idea. That would,
There isn't a. Well, a side by side around, we couldn't get over a gravel pile.
But they would have to work at it.
Not
No, they'll find a way.
They put one down past my place in the gravel pit, and within 3-4 days, it shrunk about 3 feet. Because of the big.
Boulders would probably be a bit.
I was thinking like a Jersey barrier. Then you could easily move them with the town loader. But that's something for a rec or something for, yeah, recreation meeting. We can bring up to, or-
Yeah,
tax write-offs. Moved by Counselor Austin, seconded by Counselor McDonald, be it resolved that council approves the summary of tax write-offs dated November 18th, 2024. All in favor? That's carried.
Just use this one to accept the municipal superintendent.
Moved by Counselor McDonald, second by Counselor Austin, be it resolved that council accepts the municipal superintendent's report as presented. All in favor? Carried. We don't need to do anything for the Board of Health. We dealt with 8A. Moved by Counselor Austin, second by Counselor McDonald, whereas council has received a letter of resignation from Kate Clark, Chair of the Recreation Committee, effective December 15th, 2024. Therefore, be it resolved that council formally accepts the resignation with regret, and further that council extends its gratitude for her service to the community through her work on the committee, and that a copy of this resolution, along with a letter of appreciation, be provided to her. All in favor? It's carried. Moved by Counselor Austin, second by Counselor McDonald, therefore be it resolved that the council notes the correspondence and media release from the OPP regarding the release of the 2023 annual report. All in favor? It's carried.
comment on that.
Sure.
As you know, I'm part of the OPP board, and we're in our infancy stages of getting organized, and there's a lot of preparatory work and procedures and policies to be wrote up. But, one of the things they agreed upon was they'll be sending us, I don't know what the proper term is, not official minutes. But so that we can get information as to what is happening. And then later, when the minutes are approved, we'll get an official copy.
So we'll be able to find out about
Yeah.
it timely. Yeah, we
Yes.
won't have to wait 3 months
Well,
theoretically.
there's still, that could be 6 months, it could be a year before they come up with a solution to our traffic problems.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
That's all I have.
So next we have the municipality of Calendar about, resuming tax assessment. How does everyone feel about that? Yeah, I don't want my taxes to go up, but, actually CAO Ketchupah was saying it's been since 2016. Housing hasn't been reevaluated. So, I mean, this would even out the load. Are we all in agreement?
Yeah.
So moved by Counselor McDonald, second by Counselor Austin, be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Nairn and Hyman hereby supports the municipality of Calendar's resolution calling upon the Premier and NPAC to promptly resume the assessment cycle to ensure the stability and predictability of property taxes while the government conducts its review of the property assessment and taxation system, or respond with an alternative method for every municipality in Ontario to achieve fair taxation, and further that a copy of this resolution be circulated to the Premier of Ontario, AMO, Roma, Phenom, MPAC, and to the municipality of Calendar. All in favor? Carried. And then we have the city of Cambridge with lithium ion batteries. Any comments about that?
Nope.
Okay, moved by Counselor McDonald, second by Counselor Austin, be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Nairn and Hyman supports the city of Cambridge's resolution calling upon all levels of government to enact regulation for the importation, storage, sale, disposal, and use of non-OEM, non-ULC certified lithium batteries, and further that a copy of this resolution will be circulated to the Right and Honorable Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, the Honorable Mary Ng, Minister of Export Promotion, Internal Trade and Economic Development, the Honorable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, the Office of the Fire Marshal, AMO, and to the city of Cambridge. All in favor? Carried. This is just about the 911 and the agreement moved by Counselor Austin, second by Counselor McDonald. Be it resolved that being a bylaw to authorize, you're packing up.
Stuff away you don't need.
And the clerk to enter into an agreement for 911 primary public safety answering point, PSAP services. Be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed in open council, and its number shall be 2024-34. All in favor? That's carried. Yeah, so this is about the Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund, which we usually get, but it's 188,000, so that's exciting. Moved by Counselor McDonald, second by Counselor Austin, be it resolved that for the information only item 11A regarding the update on the Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund is noted as received. All in favor? Carried. Is this Sandbag? Yeah. Okay, so, I have previously spoken with, the person we dealt with the Canada Post about post office, boxes in the village of Sand Bay, or I don't know, I may have mentioned at Highway 17 and Sand Bay Road. She did say that that wasn't a possibility. I would just like to respectfully say that she's probably not the only person making that decision. So I think that if we send a formal letter asking, it still may not happen, if I understand it correctly. Right now, our mail comes from Sudbury. And if they can't go further to Sand Bay, so they might arrange that the mail comes through Espanola. I would like to suggest that we just send a formal letter requesting that they consider either in the village of Sand Bay or at Highway 17 and Sand Bay Road. MTO owns that property, that they consider putting mailboxes there for the residents of Sand Bay. They've asked for it. It may not happen now. It may happen in 2 years or 5 years, but I think if we send a formal letter, that has more weight and it gets to more people than just asking one person on the phone. Does anybody want to discuss? Councilor
I don't
McDonald?
agree with sand at the parking lot up here, or the park there, because there's nobody there. You know, and vandalism could be anything. Now, I would agree to put one right up at Sand Bay someplace, but right there, you know, anybody going by there can damage those mailboxes, or they're right out in the open.
And what's the difference between Sand Bay Road and here?
Well, there's people living there.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, just a block. There is just a few blocks where you wanna put, at Highway 17 and Sand Bay Road, right?
Their issue is that it's so far to drive up and back that's the issue, the time spent. We could suggest even that they do it a few days a week. I don't know if they can do that. But
But right in the village, I got no problems with that. We can send a formal letter.
Councilor Ross?
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
When we had the discussions here on post and the boxes, they said they would not deliver to 2 places in there. And that was their statement of one drop off point for the mail, and that was it.
Councilor
I still-
McVeigh?
I still think it's a great, send the letter and let's see, because I think that was, it's one person, one boss's opinion or one manager's opinion. And, at least then we might get something from it, because maybe, I don't know, maybe she didn't want to do it, or I don't know, we were also guaranteed new boxes and we don't have new boxes, where the whole bunch of pipe dreams come out of that. I'm not very happy with nothing that went on with Canada Post, but, I think sending a letter doesn't hurt nothing, and it might get to somebody that can do something. Maybe somebody else is like, yeah, that's not an issue. So what's it gonna hurt?
Yeah, and I think it is a tricky thing for them to arrange. I don't see it coming together quickly, but they're a separate company for us. We can only suggest to them. They have to
Do
decide.
you have a number of the people that get mail at Sand Bay?
Oh, I don't. They must. Actually, they thought that, there must be some people from Sand Bay that are going to Baldwin.
There is.
Yeah.
No, they go both ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the
I
letter-
thought
the letter
highway-
is not a big expense to send out now.
Okay, do you want me to be specific, about the location?
So resolved that we're going to, send a letter to Canada Post requesting mailboxes for the Sand Bay residents be placed in the Sand Bay Village.
I would say you have 2 places at,
Highway 17 or?
no, at, Ketchipaw Road and Sand Bay Road. Or up at the end, so up right in the, near the town site, somewhere up there.
Well, I don't agree, Ketchipaw Road and Sand Bay Road.
No.
If they have to come all the way from Sand Bay Village, like,
So there, yeah.
a couple of blocks is not
Yeah.
gonna kill anybody, so if
Put
we
it
can't
on,
get it at the village,
put it at, next to the fire hall to Sand Bay.
yeah,
Yeah, right there, yeah.
yeah.
That's our property.
Okay, yeah.
Well, we've asked, and then Canada Post can figure out the details. Counselor McVeigh, you want to move this? Counselor Day-Petit, you want to second it?
Yep.
Moved by Counselor McVeigh, seconded by Counselor Day-Petit, whereas councils received the notification from Peter Gazy requesting a discussion regarding the moving of Sand Bay mailboxes to the Sand Bay area. And be it resolved that council directs the CAO to send a letter to Canada Post requesting that mailboxes for the Sand Bay Road residents be placed at the municipally owned property on Coal Dock Road adjacent to the fire hall. All in favor? Carried. Oh, so there is Roma coming up in January 2025. It's in Toronto, which is weird because it's rural Ontario. But I would be interested in seeking delegations for the MTO and the Minister of Mines. That's the real benefit to going is that, and for Agnew Lake, right? That's why we would be trying to talk to them. But it is in January in Toronto. So we previously, for AMO, the end of August, we had Espanola and, I don't think Baldwin went, but saw the Spanish River, and I called them and said, I'm unable to attend. And they were meeting with, ministers regarding, you know, the crisis of losing the, Domtar. And what was to be done with, you know, moving the wood chips and transportation. And so they did that delegation for us. This one in January, Espanola is not attending. I don't think Baldwin will be going, and I didn't hear back from Spanish Sabo River. So ideally, that is what works best, is when we join another community, and there's a few communities asking for the same delegation. But we don't know that anyone is going yet, for sure. So would you like to lead off discussions about that?
No, I don't know, discussion there. Don't see the point.
No.
You wanna go?
Counselor McVeigh,
I agree. I think if you think CO Ketchabah thinks there's gonna be some benefit to that. If you're gonna make some contacts and we're gonna be able to talk to some people, that's great, but at the same time, you're saying. There's, you know, it's good to go as a delegate and have other communities, so if they aren't gonna go, it's whatever you guys wanna do, I'm all for it as far as going to the conference, if it's gonna benefit us in any way.
I think there's a good possibly we could be meeting with ministers. Is it magically going to change anyone's mind? I don't know. We would be heard. We would be able to state our case. It's good timing for January, before the spring hits, right? For our Agnew Lake issue. what if we leave it that we inquire whether, Salvo Spanish River is going? And if they're going and they wanna, Because they have
Our
the-
delegation requests do need to be in by November 27th.
so I guess I'm saying that if they approve that if we go, if Salvo Spanish River is it or Baldwin, if either of them. No,
Oh, I'm for that. Absolutely.
does that sound good? If we had another community to ban with, try to meet with the ministers.
I agree.
What are the chances of us getting, if we request a delegation, do we absolutely get it?
To be honest, I don't know the answers to that. This would be my first kick at the delegation. I've never attended this conference or any conference like this, so.
Like Espanola has had a lot of delegations. I've seen that.
I'm concerned you said it was, for rural communities, and you said it's in downtown Toronto. So how much is the rural communities gonna get out of this?
Well, we did discuss it. We actually think it's because the ministers are coming. I mean, maybe we're wrong, but you're right, it doesn't make sense to have a rural,
If it's rural communities, have it out of Toronto and some
Yeah.
rural community somewhere.
yeah, but if all your ministers are in Toronto, that might be why they've done that.
That's fine, they're getting paid, and they cover their costs, are all covered for everything they do. You
Well,
go down there, even if it's a 3-hour conference, you're gonna be there overnight. And the hotel rooms in Toronto are $300 a night or whatever.
It's a
2 days,
it's a 3-day conference, so
in theory, we don't, if we're just going for a delegation, I don't know, we don't need to go for all 3 days. Do they do them at the end or do they do them right at the beginning?
to be honest, I don't know.
Oh, well, anyway. So are you fine with that? Think if we have another community to join with us, then we proceed and then we ask for a delegation with a minister?
I'm good with that.
Yeah, did you?
Okay. Oh, okay, you just.
So we attend the Roma 2025 conference and request a delegation with the Minister of Mines and Minister of Environment.
Mhm.
If another community will join us.
Okay, moved by Counselor McVeigh, seconded by Counselor Despatie. Whereas council has received the information regarding the Roma 2025 conference and delegation request, be it resolved that council directs the CAO and mayor may attend the 2025 Roma concert and conference and request a delegation with Minister of Mines and the Minister of MTO if another municipality will join us. All in favor? It's carried. No closed session today. Moved by Counselor McDonald, second by Counselor Austin. Be it resolved that being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the council of the corporation of the township of Nairn and Hyman be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed in open council, and its number shall be 2024-35. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Counselor Austin, second by Counselor McDonald, be it resolved that the meeting of November 18th, 2024 Or do now adjourn at 8:03 PM to meet again on the 9th day of December 2024 at the call of the mayor. All in favor? That's carried.
See you later.
Yep, see you. Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Good luck.
Thanks.